You could be wiser as an educated advisor. Hello everyone, I'm Steve Savant, syndicated financial columnist and money color commentator. On today's show, financial products that fund college education and compensation for the advisor, part 4 in our series on the opportunities in college funding. The financial advisor, John McDonough of the College Funding Evolution. Welcome to the fourth segment, John. And John, evolution, now why did you call it evolution? Are we evolving?
Constantly, aren't you?
Well, I would think so, but everybody tells me by the time you get to my age, my personality's in concrete. We no longer make any movement.
We just wanted the advisors to know that this is a process all the way through. And in fact, one of the things that we constantly stick with is trust the process, trust the process. You know what you know in the retirement space, and I'm sure you're very good there. But in this space, there's an evolution to take the client through, and then quite frankly, the advisor goes through an evolution as well.
Now, on the learning curve on that very topic, how steep, if I'm a decent planner, I'm pretty good about detail, I'm already doing retirement, is this going to be pretty much a pretty easy thing to migrate over to?
It should be. If I can do it, I think anybody can do it. Really, we break it down into a couple parts. Number one, are they a good public speaker, presenter? We're going to have rooms that have no less than 40, 50, 100, 200 people in the room. Because remember, we're mailing out to an urgent marketplace. This isn't dinner seminars for retirement or Social Security. Not that there's anything too wrong with those. Then you're having someone come in for a first appointment, which is a different first appointment than what most advisors are used to. We actually coach our advisors to sit back like a psychologist, like a therapist. I mean, we could have them put on cardigan sweaters if it helps them sit back and don't sell. There's no selling in the first appointment. And then the transition from this first appointment after the client pays a fee, now we're into financial planning. But they got to do the workshop and they got to do the first appointment the right way. So the learning curve is steep only to the extent that they try to fight us on the process.
Now, so there needs to be a little bit of pastoral kind of a side, maybe part of your practice you've never used before.
Or just be an educator, right? Like if you're not afraid to get up in front and be an educator, this is really what we need them to be.
Okay, now in one of our other segments, we did talk about 529 plans. And traditionally, mutual funds and ETFs seems to be the funding vehicles for 529s. We're looking at other vehicles now that may not be the traditional vehicle that you would think about. One would be an annuity. Now, we have tax issues to obey. We have certain regulatory issues. Tell me, how do I use an annuity? One part I like about it is right now, the MIGA rates or the fixed rates maybe between 2 and 3, 3 and a quarter, depending upon where you're going. Some people just like to lock it down, keep rotating it until college comes, and hope that I'm 59 and a half by the time I get there. So talk to me about that.
Well, very rarely do we use annuities in our college funding space. Now, annuities can fit very well in retirement planning. And because we are helping their baby go to the school of their dreams, we earn the right from the family to talk about retirement planning when they've really hadn't spoken to anyone else before in this space. They might have an old advisor here or there, a stockbroker. So DIAs fit well, FIAs fit well, MIGAs could fit well, but very rarely are we using that for college funding purposes.
Could I use it, though, if I'm an older, we're having children later in life. And if I'm having, by the time they get there, I'm already 59 and a half and I'm the annuity holder. Could that be a play?
Sure, absolutely it could be a play. And we do see that. I mean, we see families that range from 35 years old and they have a child in late stage high school to 65 years old that have late stage high school. We see all ranges of that.
I like the opportunity to try to give a safe alternative rather than the traditional mutual fund and ETFs, because we have people that have been through the meat grinder of the 2008 market meltdown. So they're still sensitive about things like this. I like the opportunity. Now, when we talk about college planning, I have to say most of our clients' side never saw the life insurance coming as an alternative.
Never.
They see it as an indemnification product. We have some of our advisors that are actual agents, insurance agents, they get this. Some of our security or registered investment advisors, they're saying, I'm still new to this and I question and I'm still suspect.
They can be a suspect and question it as much as they want. Our process is built on what's your best available alternative, right? So if the clients had never come to us, number one, what would their solution have been? And that's typically a train wreck. They're looking at borrowing money. They're looking at taking loans from their 401ks. They're looking at their home equity. Not good options at all. So then we're looking at what does it look like if the client could pay cash, right? So if they have a pay cash option, what's that look like? And then upon determining whether or not they can afford a pay cash option, we're looking at alternatives. Should that alternative be an IUL product? Should that alternative be a variable mutual fund, managed money type of product? Should it be some sort of IRA structure? We're looking at all of those possible alternatives to help the client. And most of the time, with proper funding and proper amounts, controlling the distributions, the life insurance vehicle fits very nicely in that space.
Well, what I really like, and I've seen this, and I want to just make sure our advisors know this, remember, we do not understand the power to the consumer of having a position in indexed products like IUL that I'm not going to have a loss in the crediting account. Now, I still have these bills to pay inside the policy, but I'm talking about that is a powerful thing for the consumer because everybody that had money in 529 plans in 2008 regretted it.
Yeah, and couple that, they regretted it when their kids were younger. Think about how much they regretted it when they were too aggressively allocated and taking distributions to pay for college at the same time.
It was a killer. A sequence of returns on distribution on 529 plans during the 2008 was brutal, hugely punitive to almost all clients. So what we've done is we've all entered what you've done has really brought this IUL back to a whole new consumer appreciation. So if you're not into this is a good time to really look at this in a whole new light.
Sounds like you're already considering yourself a college funding evolution advisor. I appreciate that.
I'm just going to have to go on tour with you.
But one of the things that we've done by in proper instances, by utilizing the IUL distribution model, we can change the distribution timing to work in our favor by the different loan and withdrawal features that the policy allows. You can't do that from a 529 plan.
Talk about the return on investment on the actual seminar, because I think this is huge.
So I still have my retail practice, but what I tell advisors all the time, if you're not going in and on average getting a 10 times return on your investment for your seminar, something broke down in the system. Something changed in the model. Now, will you get that 10 times in the door and in the account by 3 months after the event? No, maybe not, because people come in at different time frames and there's different closing schedules. But for every workshop that I do, I'm going in and our advisors are going in with at least a 10 times return on investment.
That is huge, because I think we're sitting at the retirement probably more like 3.5.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah. 3-step sales process. There is such a thing.
Well, yeah.
Okay. Walk me through the big 3.
Yeah, so the 3-step sales process is pretty straightforward. Number 1, they must attend the workshop. The advisors have to give the workshop. When someone gets referred, there's no just sitting down in a first appointment, because the client has to view you as an educator first and foremost, not a salesperson. Then they need to come in for a first appointment. Having attended the workshop, they have to come in for the first appointment and view you as the expert, the therapist, the psychological expert in this area. Then they view you as the advisor. So the 3-step process is workshop, first appointment, and then you go into financial planning with the client.
Okay, and this is all spelled out. You have this all mapped out. There's nothing to learn here. Follow the outline.
Well, there's nothing to reinvent. They have a lot to learn, but everything on collegefundingevolution.com is laid out for the advisor. From how do you source zip codes to run the event, schedule the event, landing page, everyththing's done all the way through to even case design. What Excel spreadsheets do we use? What calculators do we use? What illustration software do we use? All the way through.
Do you have a video that shows you teaching in the public domain that they can view when they become one of your advisors, that they can view and say, oh, that's how John does it?
Oh, absolutely. And we do role play. I have live videos that clients have authorized that I can use, live appointment audio that advisors can listen to. We have everything that an advisor needs to be successful as fast as possible.
John, even though this sounds like a kudo to yourself, I mean, your clients love you, right? I mean, after you walk through the college education and you unearth monies that they did not know were available, I mean, you look like a hero.
They can't believe it.
Right. So this could be your moniker instead of nobody comes to my seminar graveyard marker.
Right, yeah.
Okay, listen, don't forget to watch our next segment on the College Funding Evolution, Part 5 in our series on opportunities in college funding. And keep in mind, before moving forward with any of the ideas on our show, always check with your tax consultant, legal counsel, or compliance officer. And don't forget, you can subscribe to my consumer show, Steve Savant's Money, the Name of the Game. Daily content that you can post on your website, social media accounts, and database distribution. I'm Steve Savant. Thanks for watching.